So I have some remarkable men and panelists, which I'll let them introduce themselves in just a second. But this is the open discussion. So feel free to ask questions and join in on the discussion at any time. Let's break the silence together and lean into a conversation that's long overdue because addressing mental health isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving, and it's time we start to see it that way. All right, so we'll go around the panelists. We're gonna introduce ourselves and tell a little bit about ourselves, and then we'll go to the next one. So we'll start with Mr. Rodney. Can you give us a little information about yourself?
Yeah, Rodney Kellum, self-proclaimed fatherpreneur because I made fatherhood my business. I have the privilege of being a program manager with Fathers Incorporated here based in Metro Atlanta. We have a national footprint of service, and I'm just glad to be a part of the conversation.
All right, and Mr. Burrell.
Yeah, my name is Brandon Burrell. A lot of people know me by SeVIIn. Um, I'm a producer, engineer. Just trying to sit here, have some good dialogue with some good brothers.
All right, and Mr. Meadows.
Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Adam Meadows. Really grateful to be here. I'm a psychiatrist here in the Atlanta area. Been practicing for, goodness, going on 13 years now. I'm also a husband and a father to a wonderful 4-year-old son, and grateful to be building community with other strong men and leaders here. So I appreciate this opportunity.
All right, and now we'll move down to Mr. McNeil.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard McNeil. I'm a native of Atlanta, Georgia, graduate of Booker T. Washington, Morehouse College. I've been a mentor and a coach here in the Atlanta area since 1991. And the things that propelled me to this place where I am now, in 94, I was injured in a carjacking and told I wouldn't walk again. I was paralyzed from the waist down for about 2 months.
Wow.
Not only that, but in 2 or 3 years, I lost 5 people in my family. So it's just me here in Atlanta by myself. So dealing with grief and things like that. So again, I'm grateful for Teresa for inviting me here to this and grateful for you brothers. And hopefully we can be as transparent as possible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And myself, I am a recording engineer, a film photographer. I'm getting my tongue stuck now. I am a videographer. Also, we do podcasts, we do music videos, we do short films, and we're venturing into the feature films as well as we write and do plays as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it a little bit. Mr. Meadows, the first question for you would be, what do you think is the main reason men find it hard to talk about mental health?
Yeah, I would say one of the main reasons is either lack of opportunity or at least a perceived lack of opportunity. We oftentimes struggle with things that we don't have a chance to practice. And I think talking about our mental health is a skill that can be developed like any other skill, just like all of us at one point probably learned to ride a bicycle or learn to read or learn to, build something.
Yeah.
Learning to understand our emotions and be able to express them and share them is also something that takes practice, takes a little time. And as was mentioned earlier, we do live in a society where there can be this thing called, toxic masculinity or expectations put upon men to always be the strong one and to suffer in silence or to kind of just, hold it in and push through. Right. And that unfortunately ends up doing more harm than good. And so on the contrary, having opportunities like this where we can share and engage. And I love what our brother just said a minute ago about being transparent. That really is the secret weapon, being able to share openly, having a safe space, trusting that what you say is not going to be used against you, not going to be used to, criticize you or being called weak. So I think the more we can create these types of spaces, create these opportunities, it will give men more access and more practice with being able to share how they feel and be able to connect with other people who are doing the same.
Okay. The rest of the panel, do you personally find it difficult to talk about your mental health? If so, and why?
I'll start real quickly, brothers, today. One thing I had to do the analysis on, guys, is to understand what am I supposed to be saying, and what am I supposed to be doing. I just didn't have a path of how to express myself, in areas that were challenging or just new or, just life, if you will. And I think just not knowing what to do is part of what I had to understand, guys, is I didn't know where to go. Whether it was professionally or just even with your friends, right? Sometimes you don't even share with your closest friends. It could be mom and them, could be daddy and them, could you be your brothers or sisters, or your best friends. It was just trying to understand what am I supposed to share, what am I not supposed to share, without compromising, who I'm supposed to be, and all of that was just progressively learning, I guess, over time, guys. So I would have to say, I just didn't know, didn't have a path of what to do and how to handle my emotions and how to handle some areas I was thinking about as well, if that makes any sense.
I would say, outside of our mothers,
Yeah,
where have we been taught, shown that it's safe to express our feelings?
right.
That's our first place, and most of the time our only place. And I love the way Dr. Meadows put it: safe spaces or perceived safe places.
Mhm.
That's the importance of having this kind of space. And if you add on the layer of, like, let's say men like us who are perceived as leaders in our community or somebody to look up to, you have that fear of, man, if I share how I really feel, how would that affect those that look up to me? They look at me and say, man, if he's weak, he's strong, he's depressed, he's feeling this, he's sad. What hope do I have? And then you have that pressure, man, keep it to yourself, stay strong. And on the other side of that is where you see a lot of leaders take their life and you never knew anything was wrong, quiet depression. So it's important to have these conversations to let men know that you can create your safe space and that you need to create a safe space. There's gotta be somebody that you can say, bruh, something ain't right with me right now. I can't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, growing up, emotions, having emotions and stuff was considered a luxury. You know what I mean? You know, uh, even when you work in your 9 to 5 job or whatever, the majority of the time you're expected to constantly take, and the minute you react off the emotions, that's when you lose your job. So it's like society is structured to subtract emotion from them, and then the minute we do, it's considered toxic masculinity, or you consider soft, or you consider weak. You know what I mean? And especially growing up in impoverished areas, being seen as weak is like next to death. You know what I'm saying? Because if you consider weak, people gonna rob you, people gonna beat on you, stuff like that. So like just from a kid growing up, the worst thing I could have had was emotion. And so now that I'm an adult now, and my life is different now.
Mhm.
I can't really remove that mentality of emotions and being a weakness. You know what I mean? And the world is expecting me to continue to carry it that way. So it's good to have these kind of discussions to where you can actually feel safe and feel like, you know what, I can express this and there's no consequence, because every other time I acknowledge my emotions, it's a consequence. You know.
And another thing with that is people taking your emotions and using them to their advantage. You know, you get into an argument with someone and they know anything about your past or about about you emotionally, then they throw it up in your face.
Yeah.
Why put my emotions out there if it's only going to get turned
Right.
against me?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what men think today, is that if I show my emotions
Right.
or I tell anybody about my mental well-being, is that going to be thrown back at me? So
Yeah.
that's a bad part of it, or that's how we perceive it. So we kind of hold everything in, and
Yeah.
and at the end, or sometimes it's gonna come out one way or another, whether it's a bad way, you losing friends, family members, or whatever. It's gonna come out somehow. So we have to learn how to get it out in the most positive way possible.
Yeah.
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 All right. All right. So in the past, men like our fathers and grandfathers, they didn't show emotions. They didn't,
Yeah.
let you know what their mental state was. And many men today still do. They don't give out that information. And as I was saying just a few minutes ago, one of the reasons why is because they don't want it to be used against them, and they don't want to hear about it down the line. So what do you think needs to change for men to feel more supported in expressing their emotions? We'll start with you, Mr. Vaughan.
One of the areas, and Doc helped me out here a little bit. One of the areas is I've recognized over the years for me is the fact that I'm trying to improve myself, right? And you keep taking me back. That's the part right there. I'm working on me every day or every month, whatever it is. I'm trying to improve. You don't see me improving, but yet you keep bringing up the old past and old things and things like that. That happens, I think, too much to us men. But we're trying, we're trying to do our best. We're taking care of business at home. We're taking care of, the family, job, business, whatever, or other family members or whatever. And we still get it, we still get it, man. And that's the one right there. I think that's the one that gets me, that I had to break through and not almost have a what do you call it, a rhino's hide, right? Where stuff just starts bouncing off you because, hey, I'm trying to get better. You're not helping me, but I guess I can't worry about that. I just still got to keep moving forward, Doc. That's probably the big one. When we as men are doing better and getting better, we don't get the credit. In summary.
Right. Mr. McNeil, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm glad you picked me. This thing must be flowing right on time. So my freshman year at Morehouse College, Dr. Leroy Davis said the effects of slavery are affecting the black man today, right? And I said, that's some BS, right?
Yeah.
But then as I got older, I realized without the father in the household and things like that, a young man can only know what his father can teach him.
Yeah, exactly, Doc.
So now I had to research how it was for a black man growing up in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And I remember one family reunion down in Hawkinsville, Georgia. I was young, but I remember this. And if you ever seen the Green Book, you'll notice the same thing. My dad went into a restaurant and he came out and got in the car. We went to another place. And then we went, and then he found someone and he said, hey, y'all come on in. Well, what he had to do, he had to go in there, feel the vibe, make sure it was okay for me to bring my family in here because I can't retaliate. Here's what I try to tell young brothers. You retaliating back then, you would hold your emotions and stuff in check because you had a wife and kids and you knew they weren't going to just kill you. They were going to kill your wife, rape your wife and your kid. So now you got these grown men who grown up with these emotions that, boy, keep your emotions in because they knew we ain't got time for emotion. You got to be here, right? But now if we look at the big picture of where the African-American male is now and we're out of slavery and we've gotten these things, we're here, we're in this spiritual, emotional awakening now. And we're here to be here for these emotions to deal with them, to understand that thing about you a man and you ain't got emotion, that's a falsehood. You do have emotions. When you was a baby, you cried when the doctor smacked you, right? So why you ain't no different than anybody else?
That's right.
These getting rid of these fables and things that we've been told now, and it's up to us whenever, God or life brings that person into your presence to teach them. And usually, like for me, I've never been married, so I don't know what it is if I'm dealing with a brother who's got divorced, right? But hey, I know this guy over here that's been divorced.
Yeah.
That's how we create this circle, and that's how we begin to help assist in this change, right? If it's something that I don't know about, hey, I don't know about that, but here's what I could tell you. Like I was telling the guys on the call earlier, my friend who loves his son, who now wants to go to California from New Jersey and work, and he calls me. He begins to vent. And I said, dog, you sound human to me.
Yeah.
If my son was getting ready to leave and I've been with him 25 years, I would feel a certain kind of way. So that's just, just giving y'all our past of who we are as African-American males in this country to where we are now and the beauty of where we're going as African-American. That's just me sharing that, brothers.
You
Just to
hit it.
piggyback up with that. Sorry, Rodney, go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, Dr. Meadows.
Just piggybacking, I love what we said earlier, where, at one point or in certain situations over history, showing emotions wasn't safe. Mr. Burrell said earlier, having emotions growing up in the hood or growing up in a certain neighborhood, that's considered a luxury. If you show weakness, you'd be taken advantage of. And like this other gentleman, Mr. McNeil, just said, going back, my parents both grew up in the 1940s and had to deal with, segregation and, the colored section of a restaurant versus the white section, and not being able to go out on the street past a certain time because you don't know if you're going to make it back safe. And so realizing that some of that mentality and those experiences were passed down to us generationally, but that doesn't mean that we have to accept that as part of our present or our future moving forward, right? And now with access to so many resources on the internet and social media and access to online communities and small groups and all kinds of things, making sure that we are not playing into our past and recreating it in a way that's keeping us stuck or keeping us held in bondage. And so, whether it starts one-on-one or in a group setting, taking that first step to find someone to open up to and just normalizing it. Doesn't have to be, kind of you're on the brink of suicide. It could just be, man, I had a hard day, a hard week at work, and man, the finances are not right, and my wife is stressing me out. All of that stuff, right? And so taking that first step just to talk about life, because emotions are already baked into that. You don't have to launch in with a whole emotional spiel. You can just talk about what's going on in your day-to-day life, and I promise you, your feelings are going to come up through that because it's just a part of what makes us human.
Yeah, I think I would love to put it as we're allowed to express our emotions at the level we feel safe past survival. So the more that you're away from survival mode by yourself or your family experience, the more you have the privilege of exploring, okay, it's not just anger, it's frustration, it's sadness, it's grief, it's loneliness, not just I'm mad. But so many of us come from the experience that survival is the main thought process the majority of the time, especially the further back you go in the Black experience. So the Vietnam era, those brothers, there was no feeling. How dare you talk about it? Don't you know what I survived? And I catch myself when I talk to especially when he was younger, saying, don't you know you should be thankful? It's like, wait, no. My wife and I provided a life for our children that they have no connection to my previous survival experience. So no, he does not know. Right. That's what I appreciate about this generation. There's some stuff I don't like, of course, because I'm one of them old guys now, I guess. But when they have their guidance counselors come to their classroom, they're talking about the feelings wheel and what are you feeling today? And because that's a privilege that the previous generations had to survive through. And so that part I appreciate.
Yeah.
Mr. Burrell?
So I think that it's going to be on us to provide the safe space to be able to do that. I mean, we as men, we provide security. You know what I'm saying? So, once we start normalizing, expression of emotion amongst ourselves, and it spreads, it's going to force the world to be accepting of that also. But as long as we continue to frown upon the expression of emotion, it's always going to be something that's hidden or something that's, that you don't see until it's too late. You know what I mean? A lot of men hold things in, and then it'd be the smallest thing. It was a guy I know. He was killed over a hot dog, and in a Quick Trip. This is the last hot dog, and the guy who did it was probably going through something. He was already holding in and couldn't express it. You know what I'm saying? Due to the last hot dog, and he just lost it. You know what I mean? So as long as we continue to frown upon and call people soft for saying, like when was the last time you got into it with a friend of yours and they actually walked up to you and said, hey, you know what, bro, you hurt my feelings when you said that. You know what I'm saying? You hurt my feelings when you did that. You don't hear that. You know what I'm saying? They just instead of just expressing the emotion, they automatically channel in and go in with aggression. You know what I'm saying? So once we normalize the dialogue, once we normalize just the conversation portion of, hey, yo, listen, yo, you really, what you did really bother me. You know what I'm saying? It had me feeling this way, it had me feeling that way. And we can come to a reasonable resolution. That, I believe, that bust open the doors for mental health for men to be actually accepted and acknowledged.
Yeah, that will solve a lot of the problem. A very lot of the problem. A little question that I have besides what I got written down, from what we were saying, do you fellas still think that Black people are mentally in slavery?
Yes, definitely.
And what right now is causing that?
I mean, really delusion, I would say. You know, it's me and my brothers, we were planning on starting a business, right? So we doing this work, but the attitude is, if it comes from a Black person, if the business is for a Black person, then it should be cheaper. Because than that of a business of a white man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm Black, I don't know that much. I don't know as much as they know, and it's subconscious too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even with designers and clothes, you know what I'm saying? They got Balenciaga shoes and they ugly and they getting sold for like $2,000, but you got a Black guy whose shoes look better than the Balenciaga shoes, selling for 125. Oh, come on, man, you that's too hot, man. You gotta give to 75. You know, we look at ourselves as being less than, and then treat each other as less than, because we also want to feel like we're better than the person that's in front of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that right there is a mental slavery. Even in music, when a lot of these rappers are, you know, talking about how broke people are and broke this, broke that, and we look up to be that, but we're the broke people that they're talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got more money than my brother, so he's really the broke guy, not me. You see what I'm saying? So I believe, yeah, we definitely enslaved mentally.
All right, Mr. Vaughan, what's your thought?
Go ahead, Mr. Vaughan. Sorry.
No problem, man. That's a great one. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, guys, as you was talking. And Doc, I hope that Dr. Meadows, I hope we could talk more about this area on how to really improve our mindset, if you will. That's really part of the key. And I'm working on this for me every day. We got to renew this mind, man. This powerful mind that we have. We are brilliant. We're smart. We're intelligent, and we're also driven to do the right thing as well as Black men, I believe. And but the mindset, I had to work on my mindset, guys. I had to understand and find who I am. I'm still searching that out each and every day, who Kevin Vaughan is. But that mindset, guys, is so key. And once we get that strong, man, I know we are unstoppable. Once we get that renewed mind and really come to who we are, that's one of the keys, guys, I believe, for all of us today. And I'm excited about that journey.
Yeah, I think the mindset that you're saying, you know, that term, fixed mindset, growth mindset. So, you know, we as a culture have lived in that fixed mindset for so long, right? You know, our fathers got into the retirement and all of that, but now if you see what is growth mindset, you're having people waking up to, you know, you don't have to settle for being retired at 50 or 60 or whatever, right? So I think that we're in a place of two different things, the mindset part, right? But then the other part is the spirituality part, right? Whether it's Christ or whatever it is, that you know that you can do certain things. And I think our school systems dumb it down, because kids will only rise as high as you set the bar, right? But I'm talking to teachers who teach 7th grade that are saying kids are reading on the 4th grade level. And this is, man, this right here, this conversation about, this is a big thing, right? How do we go to the education system and begin to push our kids, right? Why are guns I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. And I'll be love to talk to you guys offline about that. But, you know, part of that mindset is what they're doing to our kids.
Yeah.
There should be a reason there are gun detectors and things like that at schools. This is an educational spot, right? And then question your people. Why your kids coming? Why some of this accountability, it's us. We got to sit down with us as African man. Say, man, this ain't acceptable no more. Like, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm right where I am. A school shouldn't be funded by property taxes. Because if it's funded by property taxes, if I'm a ghetto, my education system is always going to be weak. Alpharetta and Milton's education system is going to get the money, right? So you already got me behind the 8 ball, and the better teachers are going to go where the money is, right? So now, again, that mindset, I'm now creating in your kids this mindset. And like you said, the rap music putting money up in this. So questioning why does God have all this happening right now? And it's pushing people to understand who they are. Like, if you think about religion before, it was like you're going to heaven and hell, right? But now a lot of pastors are talking about the kingdom of God is within you. So now if that's within me, now I got to sit down within me and find it, right? And so I think that, again, that mindset and that spirituality is where we're going as African, as people, but as African-American men too. So that's just, I'll just stop, man, because I can get off in that all day, man. I'm gonna let y'all have it, man. You know, be quiet again.
Great topic.
Love it. Yeah, definitely a great topic. Just to add into that, as far as, are we as Black people still in mental slavery? Some of y'all might be familiar. There was an experiment done, I think this was back in the maybe 50s or early 60s, or maybe even before that, where they showed Black children and white children sets of dolls, right? So they showed children, the Black dolls and the white dolls.
Yeah.
And across the board, the children would attribute negative characteristics to the Black doll. They would ask, which doll is the pretty doll?
Right.
Pick the white doll. Which doll is the smart doll? Pick the white doll, right? Black children now answering also that the white doll has more favorable characteristics than the Black doll. And so talk about the education system, right? Part of what's woven into the fabric of America has been this spirit of division and this belief that Black is less than. But we know fundamentally that is not true. There's no actual science behind that. It's propaganda, right? But it's been woven in to the power structures, as far as government structures and different things, so that the majority party can stay in control, and the majority ethnicity can try to stay in control. And so our best effort of undoing that is making it personal, getting into the schools, talking to our own children, talking to our communities, and not, allowing our own kids to be subject to that same mindset. One of my favorite scriptures says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right. And the underlining in that is that the world wants you to conform to its patterns, right? There's a lot of economic advantage when you can control or influence someone or get them to be subject to what you want them to do. The whole society around capitalism and commercialism and sales is around influencing someone to a predetermined outcome that you want. Not necessarily within their best interest, but you getting them to kind of come on board with what you want.
Yeah.
And so if we can develop routines and systems and communities to renew our minds, and I think the spiritual element is paramount in terms of prioritizing a relationship with God and seeking God every day. That's a whole nother tangent. We can have another 2-hour talk about that, but so I'm not gonna dive too much into that. But
solution, guys.
But honestly, but really just the renewing of our mind is an active process. It can't happen passively, but there are things that we can do to help with that process.
Yeah.
We've all heard the fleas in a jar.
Yep.
How fleas can jump, many times the size of their body. If you put a flea in a jar for a period of time, you take that flea out of the jar, the flea's going to jump so high.
That's right.
That's the everlasting effect of slavery and white supremacy. Let's just say for this conversation, there are no more white supremacists. There are no more prejudice. There are no more hateful white people. There's no more, colonialism going on in the world. But if the people that were enslaved, their 5th generation removed, 200 generation removed, are taught by the previous generation to only operate this way,
right?
Then how can we get out? It's only going to be us where it begins.
That's it.
We know everything has not disappeared, but it does begin with us in the renewing of our mind. And we have to realize spiritually, economically, our ancestors were put in a jar.
Yes.
The idea of the projects was brought over from Germany. All these things were experiments and social experiments and constructs for systems to keep us below and the ruling class, their children above. Even though those people are long gone, the systems are still at play.
Yes.
And I remember being 4 years old, watching TV, and everything positive on TV was white. Everything negative was Black. When I walked out my front door, everything negative was black and brown. When I got busted the other side of town for school, everything was positive, was white. So in my 4-year-old brain, I said, I want to be white. I thought it was a choice because I thought I would have been smarter. I thought would have had more money because that's what my 4-year-old brain could understand.
Yep.
So imagine a whole lot of people still have that same mentality. And to Mr. Burrell's point, now I'm opening business, but I got to put a white face on it. I was saying that up until my 20s.
Yeah.
I was saying those things up until my 20s. But that's the magic of one having attended an HBCU, having understood the difference between religion and the intimate relationship with God and the word that he writes inside of me.
Come
that
on.
I can be empowered and I can empower those around me. And also being real, living in Atlanta and in the South is a very special place where you can go and see a whole bunch of people that look like you, an HBCU, a whole bunch of people that look like you and are thriving without asking for permission from a white person. That's done a lot for somebody who grew up in California, especially in Southern California, which is still very segregated traditionally, that I didn't know what I didn't know until I got out of the environment and saw people like me thriving, saying things like, no, you can pray for yourself, saying things like, you know, don't worship a pastor. You can start your own business. Man, my next door neighbor has a business. I'm being literal now. My next door neighbor has had several businesses, Black man. I can see this and touch these people.
That's it.
In my younger years, I couldn't see or touch nobody that looked like me that was truly thriving. And so we got to show our young people that Black men, Black women can thrive beyond the jar that we've been put in.
Yeah, powerful, man.
I love that. I love that. Yes.
So you know, guys, staying right there, when we educate our kids, like if you teach them the Harlem Renaissance, right? Knowing the Harlem Renaissance. So here we are in Harlem because there was segregation. So you had all these artists, you had the literary, the poets, you had the garbage men, you had the doctor, you had everybody in this one place. So kids can make a choice. Now, let's be honest, they were also running numbers back then, and they had the look and the list, but a child had a choice.
That's
See,
it.
I want to be this dentist, or I want to, why? Because it's in my neighborhood. I see it. Why? You know what I'm saying? And if you want to even take it back further, if you looked at slavery, right? We were making choices then. Our ancestors were making choices. Some were afraid and said, I'm going to stay on this plantation. Some said, I'm going to break free and go north, right? Some said, I'm going to learn how to read. And some said, man, they're going to kill us if we learn how to read. But some said, and so we've always done example. If I see him do it, then I can do it. If I see them do it, so that's part of our heritage too, that if I see him do this, I can do it, right? Because of that. So I like that. I like who's just before me. That was funky. I like that.
That was good. Yeah.
You know, guys, real quickly, we had this conversation down in Pensacola with some brothers down there as we talk about our young people, right? Because we wanted to figure out how we can help our young people. And one of the things that came up, guys, is that we have to tell our youth and our men, you know, anybody really, but specifically our young people, our young men, that who they are. That everything is inside of them. I had to learn this, guy. The kingdom of God is within us. And we got to let them know exactly what's already inside them. Nobody's really told us. I'm 67 years old. I'm still learning stuff from the Word of God on who I am. And so we got to begin to tell men and our young men specifically, not leaving out the women, just for the record here. We're not leaving out women or our young women. We're talking about men today, but we got to just let them know who they already are. Guys, an eagle is an eagle, man. You can raise an eagle only so far, and he's going to figure it out, man. I'm not no turkey, man. You know? So we hear that story over and over. But guys, we came to that conclusion. We just have to tell men and young men who they already are, and just keep developing that with the right, mix of men around them that won't take it and pervert it, of course, or change it in any way. So yeah, powerful, guys.
Absolutely.
Mindset. Woo.
Part of what I heard from Mr. McNeil and Mr. Kellum was, you know, a big part of what we believe is possible for us is what we are exposed to, right? Whether it's the Harlem Renaissance or, you know, in these situations, you're having a neighbor who's a Black business owner who's thriving that you can see and touch, you know, being able to have a mentor who you have access to. You know, part of what inspired me to be a doctor was I have an aunt. You know, my mom's sister was the anesthesiologist. And she talked about her residency in Michigan and her rounding in the hospital. I was exposed to those concepts at a young age, and it planted those seeds. And I believed it was possible because not only did she look like me, she was in my family, right? I had immediate access. So I think a big part of our responsibility is how do we create the access and exposure for our children in our communities so that they believe what is possible for them is beyond anything that we had.
Yeah, powerful. And guys, as you know, it has to come from us. I'm going to talk about the head of household, mom, or parents or guardians. It really has to start with us. I know we talked about the educational system, but guess what, guys? They're not designed to talk about what we're talking about. They're not. They don't care what we don't care about. So it has to start from home, and we got to be able to train our children from home and let them know the differences and really help them out in that area a little bit.
All right. So how does your mental health affect your relationships with others, like family, friends, partners, things of that nature?
I would say, that's, well, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You started. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I have a bias with this, of course, but I think mental health is everything, right? It's how, who we are and how we feel and how we think and how we show up impacts every part of our lives, whether it's our quiet moments with ourselves, here in our households, out in the workplace, in the community, and whether or not you are aware of it or sharing it, it's still having an effect, right? So either you are, you're kind of dealing with it in silence, or you're being vocal about it. It doesn't matter, whether or not you're actually acknowledging it, it's still there. It's almost like, it's almost like gravity. People say, "Oh, well, I don't believe in gravity." It's like, well, you don't have to believe in it, but it's still there now. So the same goes with our mental health, with our emotions. It's a part of how we are made. I think if we can harness it in the right way and again, provide these spaces, we can see the positive fruits of it in our relationships, in our workplaces, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. One thing, guys, in this area, this is powerful. Communication is a key, man, without a doubt. And guys, I think one thing we don't take time to really get to know each other. And Doc, you can help me out a little bit on that, but that's what part of it, my observation has been, guys. We really got to know each other. You go outside and meet somebody, and you're already assuming something. I don't know nothing about them. You're assuming based on their looks or what they did or said or whatever, and it has nothing to do with really who they are. So I think, guys, we have to just learn how to really get to know one another, if you will. And of course, you got to use wisdom and confidence and so forth. But the point is that we got to get to know people. I think that will help a lot as we talk about mental health and how we have a relationship with our family and friends and so forth. But do we really know our friends? Do we really know our family members? Do we really sit down and have conversations? I like doing that, but do we, but can we do it? We like doing it, but it takes time. And we got so much going on in our lives. I think it gets washed out sometimes, guys. And we don't take the time to do it as much as we love to. We just got other things that we have to do. But it just takes time to do. I think that's one of the keys is we got to learn to communicate and really get to know each other as much as possible.
And I like to, off what he said, to me, this is my personal experience.
Yeah.
Is learning to, when you learn to understand yourself, right? How you're made, how you're wired, your fears, your desires and all of that. When I began to learn that, right, then I can connect more with my brothers.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know me and him. I know my fears, right? If I got a friend who mama just died, and I said, "Man, how you doing?" He said, "I'm doing great." I'm like, "Wait a minute, you doing great?" Bro, my mom died, bro. I was on the floor.
Yeah,
Oh, when you can come in a room and you can listen, but I still don't judge that person, right? But as I learn me, I can go in the room with anybody and sit down and be cool because the same person that you are, we the same.
Yeah.
We the same. So when that guy cries, I can cry with you. I can console you, right? Or if you need that motivation or that accountability partner to help you start your business, I need that too. See, it's the division of when we think we different. Nah, bro, we the same. Whether you, and I like, what's his name? Killer Mike, but his real name, right? I like the way these guys now, man, let me tell y'all something. The beauty of where I am in this process of life, right? I love to see these athletes with their kids at the table now. So now this young brother can say it's okay to be a dad.
Yeah, man.
I see certain things where men don't get me wrong, we got both sides of it where it's crazy, right? But I see men, the young man who dated Cardi B and she broke up with him and he's on the Breakfast Club saying, I love this woman. I want to get her back. Now young black men can find out it's okay to have a woman in your life. Right? And all these things that we starting to see right now.
Yeah.
Look at the Olympics. They had breakdancing in the Olympics. You got hip hop that started in the 70s in New York that's all around the world. And instill that same hope in our kids so that they know nothing can stop you. Look at where you come from. Look at what your folks went through. The way you at now, you can do this. Whatever in front of you, you can do this. Right? And so, man, but this right here, man, knowing yourself, and then you can come in the room and sit with anybody because I'm just like you are.
That's right, buddy. That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, guys.
As somebody that was born in the 1900s, the whole term, mental health was a new thing that I had to adjust when it became popular. When I was younger, you only heard you're crazy or you all right. There was no understanding of levels of mental health. And so now I've come to understand it. Mental health, like physical health. You know what? I got a little runny nose today. You know what? I just feel a little sad today.
Yeah.
Man, my knee is throbbing. Man, I am grieving today.
Yeah.
We can talk about those things when you connect it with the physical health, like talk about it like that. Identify the issue with the proper vocabulary goes a long way. Because back in 1989, if you would have said, man, something ain't right. Oh, that boy crazy.
Right.
Automatically, because there was no understanding of what mental health was. It was you crazy.
Right.
That was a part of that safety. That was also part of that survival. And so I continue to appreciate people like you, Dr. Meadows, as a Black man who's out there talking about mental health. I appreciate all the brothers out here on this panel, because we really are opening doors. And this is what I know. Every time I participate in a conversation like this, every time, whether it's just men or Black men, there's some man and or woman that listens and says, man, thank you for what you said. I was going through this and I was about to do this. Every time. So I'm thankful this is being recorded, and I hope and I pray and I believe that conversations like this continue to help people feel comfortable saying, I'm still not right since my mom passed. I'm still not right since my friend got killed. I'm still not right since I broke my relationship ended with so-and-so.
Yeah.
I'm still not right that my father, my children, mother, my children, we can't see eye to eye. Like, we can say those things, or I miss them. Like you were saying about Cardi B and Offset. That people don't realize. I don't just dismiss rappers no more because they're young or what they're rapping about. Right. What I do is I appreciate when they get on their platforms and they show growth. People like Offset doing what he did, even 21 Savage, when he did his collaboration with that song A Lot, I think it was J. Cole. J. Cole said that man brought his children to the studio. Like, when that stuff is said, they don't understand the power of the seed that's being sown.
That's good.
About killing, shooting, but in his real life, what he's showing you when he shows up in real life, not the make-believe world, but the real world, he's a father to his children. He's a man to his wife and the mother of his child. Yep. That's real, and that goes way further than the fake world that they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, powerful, man. Powerful.
Mr. Burrell, you got any comments on that?
Oh yeah. Just to jump back. I mean, as far as like my mental health and my loved ones and people around me, like I said in the beginning of the panel, that emotions is a luxury from how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have that luxury to express, what's going on with me mentally. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm too busy creating the luxury for them to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So they may think something's going on with me and something may be going on with me, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want them worried about the household crumbling because of the idea of someone expressing themselves or saying mental health makes people, like the gentleman said, that makes people think you want to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to think, I don't want them to think I'm about to lose my mind because I say I'm having a mental health issue right now. So I gotta hide it. I keep that inside. So I allow them to be able to express themselves. So that way, you know, they can express themselves to what they perceive to be a strong figure and not fear any consequence. You know what I mean? But I don't have that same luxury. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that person to sit there and talk to, like, yo, listen, you know, these people are really about to drive me crazy. I'm about to lose my mind. You know, I can't say that out loud, you know, because they're gonna think it's actually gonna happen. You know what I mean? So as far as with me, yeah, I just hide mine until I find a safe space to release it, you know.
I said like this, my door is always open, bro. You can always come to me and vent. It ain't gonna go nowhere further than my 2 ears.
I definitely appreciate that.
There's no information.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here, bro. All of y'all got absolutely.
I definitely appreciate that. Likewise.
And I appreciate that, you know, Brother Burrell, because like what I was talking about earlier, like I go through that, being seen as the leader.
Yeah.
And man, just keeping it in. Yeah. And who do you talk to? Because you can't talk to somebody that you lead. Right. So that's the importance of these panels and these circles and these conversations. Is here. All right. Hey, man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people, I'm tired. What do I do? That's how this works.
Yeah, absolutely. That's powerful, guy. Matter of fact, we were having this conversation earlier, guys, about some people just want to listen, ear. They just want an ear. They just want somebody to just listen to them. And they may not want solutions right then, but just somebody that they can confide in just to listen, you know, guys. And that was powerful. I said, yeah, we're here to listen. Let's ask the question. We ain't saying nothing. We'll just listen to you. And believe me, it makes a world of difference, man, when you have those ears just listening and letting that person vent or say whatever they need to say, just to keep them in that, you know, in that spirit of healing, if you will, and camaraderie. So yeah, that's powerful, guys. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And then again, another thing for a lot of men is they got to know that that person that they're talking to is not going to go spread their business.
Exactly.
You know, 'cause if I can't trust you, I can't talk to you about things.
Exactly.
So as long as that person you trust and you know that that's where that conversation ends. So be it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the most positive thing to do is to be able to have an outlet. If you don't have an outlet, that is coming out. It's gonna come out some way, shape, form, and fashion. And most of the time, if you ain't got an outlet, it's coming out negative.
That's key right there, guy. Don't break the trust, man. The trust broke one time. That's it.
That's it.
With us, we don't play that, man. You break it one time, we're out.
Because realistically, like we have that wall up. So if we dare trust somebody, like I'm choosing you to be safe with.
Right.
This is what I'm going through. And you scar that heart that I gave you access to. Nah, I'm good. How you doing? I'm all right. I'm good. I'm cool.
Yeah. And that's another thing is we always all right. Why lie?
Yeah.
You know, it's times where you could be a person can look at you and tell that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And if it's that right person, you should let it out. Say what you got to say, whether it's something against that person or something, you know, in your life that's not going right. Just let that person know that, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And, you know, can you basically keep this a secret between me and you or whatever the case may be? This is how I'm feeling. My wife did this today. My job did this today. I lost my job. How am I going to, you know, fend for my family and how I'm going to do better for my situation? We have to find that at least one outlet. Find another one that's even more powerful. But at least one outlet will be the best thing for you. So
I think that's a really powerful statement, just particularly because, you know, as men, you know, I think a lot of us are wired to fix things, right? To look for solutions. And if we don't see an immediate fix or a solution to it, we might not want to actually open up,
Right.
Look, let's say someone just lost their job.
Right.
How is me telling them that I just lost my job is going to fix it? It's not going to fix it. That's just going to make me think about it more, and I'm just going to be more upset about it. Right. That's part of the mindset that you would think of, like, talking about my problems is not actually going to fix it.
Yeah.
My answer to that is to see sharing how we feel as more of a journey than a destination. Right. It's like if any of us were making a cross-country drive from here in Georgia to California, driving from here to Alabama is not going to get us there, but it's a step in that direction of getting us closer to California. Right. And so, talking about losing your job, you are right that first share may not, bring your job back, but you never know who you might open up to, who might know somebody who can connect you with someone else or put in a good word for you at another job. And so a lot of good can come from us opening up. And so don't get stuck in thinking, oh, there's not an immediate fix, an immediate solution, so I'm not going to say nothing. Take that first step of just, sharing something. Doesn't have to be the most deepest, darkest secret or the most intimate thing, but just taking that first step of sharing something, you'd be amazed at the other doors of good that can open from that.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because like you're saying, any opportunity is a good opportunity when you don't have a job or something significant that can change the route that you take to get something done. So opening up to people is a good thing, but you got to make sure it's the right person.
Yeah.
Because if it's not the right person, that can lead you down a rabbit hole and also lead you to doing something that you don't really want to do.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I think as the two words that come out as I listen to this, we that know all of this knowledge and have this information, there's a maturity and a humility that has to show up on the scene, right? And so the maturity is knowing that we don't have all the answers, right? And the humility falls in place as well. So in my life situation, and again, I just share my experiences, right? So in my experience, the first person that God allowed me to meet was a guy who was a sponsor of AA. And I had just lost my mom, right? And so grieving, right? Grief and understanding, I'm grieving. And then when he allowed me to read what AA is and what it does, and to hear that somebody else is addicted to something, right? And that they need this help, right?
Yeah.
So then I can go, dang, I ain't hooked on alcohol, but I might have my own issues, right? So now I can be humble, right? Because this person got this struggle and I got this, right? But now I can't judge you. I might not have this, right? And so with this maturity and humility, as we that are knowledgeable, I find myself kind of like what you said. I've got a spiritual mentor who is my friend I was just telling you about. Then I have a business mentor. So if I got business stuff I'm going to, I sit down and talk to him. If there's a financial mentor to help you with your finances, whatever it is, and to be able to tell young kids, hey man, at 60 years old, I'll be 60 in January, I got mentors because I don't have all the answers. And it's somebody in your field. You get in the house, oh, you need to go to a real estate mentor to tell you, why should you buy this house in Cobb County? Would a value be 10 or 20 years, right? And I think with my friend that's over AA, when he hit me and I was talking about relationships and women, right? And he said, bro, where you getting your information about dating and women? And I had to look at my circle. Again, we'll tell who's in your circle. When we talking to you, who's in your circle, right? So in my circle, there was a dude who just got divorced, cheated on his wife, a dude who didn't want to be married, and a dude who was hung up on an old relationship. So my mentor told me at that time, he said, hey man, your tooth hurting and you going to see a lawyer. If you want to know about relationship and marriage, you need to go sit down and talk to a man who happily married.
Yeah.
And we got to be able to give that common sense to our young men.
That's good.
They understand this thing as well, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good, man.
Yep. All right. So as men, do you feel pressured to always appear strong? And what does being strong mean to you? And how does it affect you mentally? Anyone can start.
I mean, well, yeah, well, I got to be strong. It's a lot of threats. Like I said, I have a household to protect. You know what I mean? So my everyday being is strength. You know what I mean? Being strong is like I said, not showing emotion, not letting, it's like if a guy breaks into your house and you got your wife there, and you got your kids there, you know what I mean? You got to be willing to kill and die in a split second.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Emotion will kind of, distort that. You know what I mean? Fear will kind of distort that. So you don't have time for any of that. You know what I mean? You have to be on go, ready to go at any moment and deal with whatever consequence that come after that. Nobody's going to be thinking about, well, you know what? I wonder how does he feel inside being that he had to take a life. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to be wondering, well, how was he adjusting with almost having his life and the life of his family taken from him under his watch? You know what I'm saying? No one really gives us that kind of leeway. They don't think about what transpires after. All they care about is the result. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's which is horrible to me. It's really horrible to me. To that is an unbearable weight. You know what I'm saying? Be put in those positions at any moment. Be prepared to do that kind of stuff, and then nobody cares about the aftermath. They just happy. Everybody's happy that they're safe. But what about the man that just went through all of that? That had that whole thing riding on his back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where is he at mentally? And then if you decide to express yourself, people are gonna call you crazy. Oh, he's crazy because he shot somebody. Or it's like a lose-lose. It's like being a black man today. It's like a lose-lose. You wrong if you do express yourself. Wrong if you don't express yourself. You're expected to be a robot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I'm personally tired of. I am sick of that. I'm sick of being given these impossible decisions and then being judged on whatever decision I make, even though I have an impossible choice.
There you go.
Right.
That's right, man. That's powerful.
That's good. That's good.
Guys, I was just thinking about my journey too as well. I was just wrote down from pressure to position. Now, one thing growing up, and earlier, guys, I was thinking I had a lot of pressure on me to take care of the family and the wife and the job, all the things we do, home, whatever you have to do, bills and opportunities and obligations, all of that. But I had to turn it into position. I didn't know what my position was, guys, till recently as a man, because you got to go. The brothers talked about it earlier, the spiritual side. God created man first, man. That means we the leader. So I had to understand, okay, what's that position? If God created man first, that means he wants us to lead, but to lead the way he has set it up, right? And that's the part I had to learn, guys, is that the pressure now is turned over to position and understanding my position. I think we talked about that earlier too, guys, the fact that knowing who I am, right? Knowing who we are, first of all, and getting this right up here too as well, and getting my attitude right and all the things that require us to be who we are, man. Because literally, guys, as you know, we are priests and sons of the living God. And once I'm learning that, guy, or still learning that, what's that position look like? So once we understand that position and then own it, right, it actually gets a lot easier, if you will, because we now know who I am in this journey called manhood. It's amazing, man. So I'm learning that every day, guys. It's not a destination. It's something I'm learning every day.
All right. Now, another question that just comes to mind is, what's your mental thought as a black man when you first step your foot out your house?
I might not make it back here.
Wow. That's a powerful question.
Wow.
It's powerful.
Dr. Meadows?
Wow.
I think for me, it comes back to that kind of pressure question. It's not so much pressure to be strong, but pressure to deliver, to show up.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I don't have a next man up. There's not someone behind me who, if I get injured or I can't pay the bills, they're gonna step up and take care of me and my household. That's, it's on my shoulders. I've got a loving wife, I've got family support.
Yeah.
But there's this kind of internal pressure of I gotta stay in the game.
Right.
I gotta be on the court. I gotta perform. I gotta score. I gotta maintain my position and my role in order to maintain this, quality of living for my family or be able to provide for my son's education or whatnot. And just the reality of, the cost of living here in America is going up and inflation and, the average American doesn't even have, 30 days worth of savings, right? And so it just, it's
Yeah.
this kind of constant clock and this constant, you know,
Yeah.
kind of financial calculator in the mind of like, okay, you got to keep delivering, you got to keep showing up. And as a man, you know, we are not afforded opportunities to take a break. You know, say, you know what, I want to just take some time off to find myself or to, you know, to discover. It's like, bruh, that mortgage payment's due every month, first of the month, and the bank doesn't really care, you know, how you feel or whether or not you found yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part for me where, you know, stepping out every day. It's like, you know, I want to serve at a high level. I want to please the Lord. I want to take care of my family. I want to provide.
Right.
But there's this expectation of being on every day when I walk out the door. Okay, it's game on. Let's go. There's no option other than that.
Yeah.
For
Mr.
me, it's
Burrell,
not. Go ahead.
go ahead. Who was speaking?
No, but you were saying Burrell, brother Burrell. Please, you can go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
ask Mr. Burrell. You said that, you know, if you're gonna make it back home, can you
Yeah.
explain a little bit on that?
I mean, you know, it's so many threats out here. You know what I mean? It's so many. Everything is about balance. You know what I mean? Every move that you make when you walk out the door determines whether or not you're gonna make it home, whether your kids gonna be good, whether your family's gonna be straight, whether the bills gonna get paid. You know, there's a lot of hate and jealousy out here. You know what I'm saying? Especially being a black man. I mean, like Dr. Meadows, like God forbid any of this happen, but he can just walk outside and someone say, "Oh, he a doctor," or he think he better than everybody. Okay, I think he probably got some money on him. You know what I'm saying? Want him to try to rob him. You know what I'm saying? People may see me out here. Oh, that maintenance nigga. He think he all that, huh? Okay, let me see what I can get out of him. I know he got some money. I know they be making money. You don't know. People be watching you to try to take something from you.
Yeah.
Everybody want to take something. They want to take. And all you do in life, all we do as men is protect and try to maintain. I'm trying to protect this. I gotta maintain this. You just never know. And there's so many threats out here. It's like, I don't know what this day's gonna bring. My goal is to make it home. You know what I'm saying? My goal is to make it back. But the odds are stacked against me that I won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a higher chance of me. It's a higher chance of me not making it home than me actually walking back through this door. And every day I walk back through, I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful because one mistake could have killed all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what your family gonna do?
Grief.
They're gonna grieve, go broke. Yeah, the whole household, the structure of the household was based off of you making it back home. The pressure, you see what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
pressure. The one time that someone said something smart to you and you decide to say something smart back and you lose your life, you ruined your family when all you had to do was shut. So it's all about decisions. So how do you know what's the right one to make? How do you know what to address and what not to address? How do you know what to acknowledge and not to acknowledge? Do you live in fear or do you live on the defense? You know what I'm saying? Or do you live on the offense? You know, it's a lot that goes into that, and especially like a man like me, I don't know. I'm just following God. I'm just doing whatever I feel like God inside is telling me to do.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what I feel like should be happening right now, and that's probably why I've made it so far. But you just never know.
Yeah.
Mr. Kellum, you had something to say?
Yeah, man. This is something I'm a very large black man, right? So I've been tall my whole life. I'm 6'7", around 270-ish pounds. I've had to, since being a little boy, since probably around the age of 7, where I started being taller than my female teachers, understand that I'm a threat. And developing this skill of how to make people feel at ease every time I'm around them. Part of it's personality trait, part of it's survival. So when you say, what's my first thought? I have so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Not just one. And what's sad to me is that I've internalized the ability to make people feel safe so much, I don't have to think about it. It's just how I operate. Now, on the other side of it, now that I'm a 42-year-old man, I'm getting to that place where I've for the past year, started working on myself to say, if my presence bothers you, that's your problem.
Yeah, right.
And what that's based in is learning how to finally love myself.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I was realizing I was coming home exhausted, keeping people cool, calm, small white lady over there, police officer. Now I know how to operate in life. I know it's intrinsic. I know how to be respectful. I know how to be safe. I know how to read the room. That's a skill now. It's like breathing. So I don't have to think about it so much as it is how I exist.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm learning now is that loving myself means if I walk by you and you give me the ugly face, that's your problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not have to make you feel better about yourself not liking me because of my existence.
That's right.
Saying to Rodney, I love you, bro. You good. Just how you are as the tall, large black man that scares people because you know you have no intention of causing harm. You know how to de-escalate situations. You know how to make people feel good about themselves and laugh and smile to disarm their limited beliefs about you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rodney, it's not your job all the time because damn, that feels horrible living a life of making people feel safe. It feels horrible and exhausting going through trying to change people's minds. That's not my job.
That's
Right.
good.
And
That's
that's
good, bro.
me saying I love me enough to say I'm tired of it. I'm tired because of it. I remember when Philando Castile and the brother Alton Sterling got murdered back to back. That part of my life was that moment where that kicked off. I had to hold my tongue that next day because I worked in an office full of Caucasian people who did not understand the Black experience. And I'm hearing their conversations about, well, what did he do wrong? He had to do something, and having feeling like I had to bite my tongue to the part that almost bled. From that day, two things happened. I said, I can no longer watch violent death videos because my spirit was bothered.
That's good.
Made a change.
Yeah.
And two, you can't do that to yourself no more.
Mm-hmm.
I literally felt, I said, to make it through that day, to every bit of my spiritual strength.
Yeah.
Because I had no physical strength for feeling so exhausted about none of y'all understand my experience. None of y'all understand that those brothers did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm saying to myself, you don't understand because you can't see yourself or your loved ones in that situation.
Yeah.
That felt like me. Those two instances felt like me, just standing.
Yeah.
Yes, officer. I'm reaching for this. What's your command? I'm doing exactly as you said, officer. And still, I saw myself as a father and a husband in that car. And that day changed me. Those 2 days changed me. So now I'm having a conversation with myself, Rod. You can go ahead and go to sleep early tonight, bro. You're exhausted. You don't have to make them feel comfortable. You don't have to go do that thing that you used to do 5 years ago because you know it is not good for your soul. So
that's good.
The thoughts I have now are different than 5 years ago. The multitude of thoughts, and I'm thankful at this moment that the majority thought that I have running through my head, because Brother Burrell actually said it, how he ends his day, is how I begin my day, and how when I step out of my door, I'm thankful. And I've learned that helps me love myself better when I operate from gratitude. No, it doesn't mean everything is great, but it keeps me in a safe space in my mind. I'm thankful that I haven't had an interaction with law enforcement. I'm thankful that I hadn't had to make a group of small, whatever group of people feel safe because of my presence. I'm thankful that I make it through, and I didn't kowtow. I'm thankful that I'm growing. I'm thankful that I'm expressing. No, I don't like the way you said that. Versus holding my tongue. No, what you did, hey, let me talk to you for a second. I'm doing those things now because I love myself. And what that's doing is I know that when I do that, I'm helping other Black men and Black women and Black children be safe because I'm not holding my tongue no more. So these are some of the many thoughts that I have when I step out my door, that the many thoughts it took to get to the stepping out of the door, and the thoughts that I have coming back into my house. It's a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
That's good, bro.
Enough to talk about it.
That's good. I love that.
I know when I go ahead.
you said coming out of the door, right?
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm just gonna crank this thing up, brothers.
Yeah.
Hey man, if I don't start my morning off in prayer,
Mm,
if I don't start, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, straight up,
come
I
on.
ain't finna, I'm finna come with the peanut butter right now.
Yeah. Buddy.
I told the girl that I was dating, she said, am I the first thing on your mind when I wake up? I said, no.
Nope.
Right.
That ain't the dude that you want, shout. I'm finna tell you that right now. You don't want that dude.
Right.
First thing I need to do is, however, if it's to be led to scripture or led to prayer or whatever,
Yeah.
when I start my mornings off like that,
Yeah.
most of the time I go into work and I'm not concerned about it because I've already put everything in front. I realize it's not me, right? My success, see, so brothers, when I was shot in this carjacking, I told her when walk again, I went in the Shepherd Spinal Center with 15 other people.
Wow.
So now out of them 15 other people, the other 14, you don't think they want to walk again?
Listen, come on.
Right.
So if I'm giving this grace to walk, right? So when you start your business, you think you the only one want this business?
Mm,
You think it's you. Yeah, you putting in the work, but what's the grace? Right? What's the grace? And understanding that grace, right? And you understand, hold on. The reason why I got this, I'm putting in the work, but it's through God that I got this grace.
Yeah.
It's through God that I got this grace. And however your prayer life take you, because it's a personal relationship with your higher power, right? However, if you say, watch over my family, protect me, give me the wisdom to handle my finances, whatever that prayer is, it gives you comfort, or it gives me comfort, right?
yeah.
So when I walk out that door, if I ain't prayed, I already know I'm and somewhere now, maybe I got to put on some Yolanda Adams or something on the way to work or wherever I'm going to get my mind back right. But I got to always remember that whatever this power is, however you want to call it, whatever name you want to give it, I got to sit with that first. And all things that I do,
That's
right?
good.
Everything that I do. The last thing I want to share is, I remember when Kaepernick was taking the knee, and my manager, who was a great friend, and he's Caucasian, he wanted to talk about this. Now, number one, please educate yourself and educate your children, not from a racist standpoint of this, but educate them, right? And so I will say that because of my upbringing and the college and everything, I'm well versed in history, right? History, knowing slavery and all these other things. So I said, are you sure you want to talk about this, right? He said, yeah, I want to talk about it. So we go in his office at work, we go in the office. And he said, I just want to understand why I said, man, every time we as African Americans fighting for rights, we got to do something to make y'all pay attention. But why you want to do it with the flag? I said, man, think about the Olympics. We want gold medals, we put our fists up. When Muhammad Ali had to take a stance and say, I'm not fighting them people. Why? Y'all the one calling me and my people oppressing us, not them over there. Then you're gonna lose your bill and your money. I don't care. So we have to take those stands, right? He say, I get that, but why y'all do this? Why win the flag? I said, okay, since the flag is what you're harping about. Now think about our history, brothers. My grandfather, who was in World War II, who fought for this flag that you talked about, came back, and I said this to him, and he was a nigger. He was getting to go to segregation. He had to go to black only, but he don't fought for this flag for the country now. He had to do this. I got an uncle that's over in Korea. They couldn't find his body for this flag that you talking about. And if he ever came home, he'd have came on the black only restrooms, black only restaurants. He wouldn't have been giving no, but he done gave up his life for this flag. I got two uncles that was in Vietnam for this flag that you talking about. And he said, well, why y'all killing each other in Chicago? I said, we're not changing the subject. That's another thing. You find yourself knowledgeable as an African-American male, they're going to switch the subject. No, and again, somebody else told me this. This is true. When you find don't let them switch subjects. Nope, I ain't switching subject. We're going to stay right here. You said about this flag. And so that's another thing, understanding the situation that you're in. And I wouldn't have known that if somebody had told me, when you find yourself now, they will switch subjects on you. Don't switch subjects. So again, when I told him about the flag and I labeled the points, he didn't have anything else. And again, that's still a good friend of mine, and we debate. But anyway, just thought I'd share that with y'all, brothers.
Good, man.
That's good.
That's a good thing to talk about too, because why are we constantly killing us? It's still a mental thing. From my thoughts is slavery and how they mentally have things set up for Black people. If you take out yourself, How much work do I got to put in taking you out? Not as much.
Right.
And it seems like every time one of them kill us, there's an uproar. What about us killing us? Where's the uproar?
Right.
So it's still, to me, a mental thing when stuff like that happens, whether
Yeah.
we believe it or not,
Yeah.
or want it to happen or not.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and move on from that one. We don't want to get negative on anything, but so we're going to go to Dr. Meadows. Are there any specific tools, programs, or apps that you can recommend to help men manage their mental health?
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what Mr. McNeil said, I think prioritizing your spiritual health has to come first as
Yeah.
part of the foundation for mental health, right? There is no mental health without, in my opinion, spiritual health, and that foundation being God.
Yeah.
And so whether it's a physical book or on my phone, I've got the the YouVersion Bible app. And nowadays we have access to so much. I mean, there's so many podcasts that are uplifting, that have positive content, that are telling you how to be a better father, manage your finances more effectively, find jobs that are more fulfilling. And so there's really, it's not that there's no excuse, but there is so much access nowadays that if we would be intentional on going on the internet, going on social media to look for the things that we actually want.
Right.
So much of social media and the algorithms are kind of programmed to feed us what the marketers want and what the apps want to kind of get us addicted on. But we have power now. We have control over just say, you know what, block that channel, mute that post. I don't want to see this anymore. I want to search for these things.
Yeah.
I want to look up things on YouTube under mental health or how to be, more productive at work or at my household, and listen to content, right? Like, one of the gentlemen said earlier, the things that we expose ourselves to plant seeds.
Yeah.
And that is so true, both internally and in our children and in our spouses, et cetera. And so being more selective, being more disciplined and more intentional with what we consume. And I'm meaning that in a very literal sense, what we eat, what we put in our bodies, but what we consume as far as media. Just like that brother said, after those those unjust killings, I also stopped watching the news. I don't really watch the news, to be honest. I don't turn on CNN and Fox, and I don't anything that I need to know. It's going to be all over social media anyway, or someone's going to text you, "Oh, did you hear about so and so?" So when I'm using my free time to go online or to look at social media, it's something that's going to be positive, that's going to be educational, that's going to help move me closer to my goals and be in alignment with my values. There's a brother that has a podcast. His name is Tim Ross. I don't know if you guys heard of him. Does the Basement Podcast. Former pastor, but turned podcaster. Great content. He has an app also called the B-Side app. I subscribe to that. There's all kind of educational topics. He has other guest, podcasters featured on there that are trying to create positive change and that are trying to move the needle towards something of more substance in this world, and not just talking about division or talking about spending money or just nonsense, like stuff that's actually going to advance you and make you a better human being. So those are the things. So I would say, to the question, going online and downloading apps that are going to be edifying, that are going to raise your level of awareness, your level of connection with God or your higher power, and are going to make you show up better for yourself, for your family, and the things that you care about.
Yeah, powerful.
Now, one more question for Dr. Meadows. What advice would you give to men who are silently struggling and have not reached out to anyone about their mental health?
There's a popular quote that says, small steps, great distances, right? I think sometimes as men and as people, we can get ideas or make plans that are too big. Say, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to go to therapy every day. I'm going to start working out and eating right, 5 days a week. And we start too big, and then we either end up doing nothing, or we start and we fall off because we set too big of an initial goal. And so if you're someone who is struggling with your mental health and haven't yet taken a first step, make that first step something attainable and something realistic, right? People talk about setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time limited, et cetera. And so what I found helpful for me in working on my own mental health is integrating things into my daily routine that I'm already doing, right? And so if I'm already going to the gym, let me listen to whether it's some worship music or an inspirational podcast or something while I'm working out anyway, rather than something else that's going to be, distracting or planting negative energy. If you are already going to work, is there one person, is there a colleague at work who you've built trust with that you could have lunch with this week and just have a one-on-one, open up a little bit about, man, supervisor's has been riding us, how's that been? I've been feeling a bit stressed out with this project deadline. How have you been feeling?
Yeah.
Right? Just that one conversation. If you're already part of a church community or a faith community, is there a small group that you can join? Is there a men's ministry? Is there, even if there's not a men's ministry, is there a young adult ministry or youth ministry where you can go serve?
Yeah.
Because oftentimes mental health challenges, whether it's depression, stress, anxiety, it makes us tunnel vision and creates an inward focus. I know this might sound, kind of paradoxical, but one of the ways of getting through that is not staying inward. It's getting out of your head and starting to serve others. And so can you show up in a way where you are helping someone else and serving them or serving another part of the community? I promise you that will be therapeutic for your own mental health. And so just, a couple of nuggets there in terms of taking that first step, but making it accessible in your daily routine of what you're already doing, whether it's work, at home, whether it's in your church community. And for someone who is ready for that next step of actually going to see a therapist, going online, you can go on Psychology Today and research therapists in your area. You can go on BetterHelp. There's online therapists. Let's say you might work night shift, you might, work a certain time where you can't really just leave and just go to a therapist's office. There's a lot of flexibility with online therapy, and going on something like BetterHelp and finding that. But just, the bottom line is make that first step as easy and accessible as possible so that you get that thing done and then build momentum to then work toward the larger process of working on your mental health.
Oh, good. So we are coming to the end of the conversation, but we will be getting final thoughts. We'll start with Mr. Vaughan. What's your final thoughts?
Oh man, guys, this was powerful, man. We talk about iron sharpen iron. Well, my iron just got sharpened again today. So I want to thank all the brothers and the coordinators for this wonderful event. Of course, Dr. Meadows, thank you so much for your wonderful insight and leadership in this area as well. So guys, I'm excited. We're going to get this more out to some other brothers. We got some men that need to hear this. We got some young adults that need to hear this and can't wait to get this out to them as well. Thank you so much.
All right. And Dr. Meadows, your thoughts?
Yeah, firstly, grateful for this opportunity to be in such, fine company with other brothers who are trying to live right and just share messages the right way and connect with each other. A lot of brothers have today mentioned in some form or fashion the importance of exposure and mentorship, especially. I love what Mr. McNeil said about having specific mentors in different areas that you're trying to grow in. So a business mentor, a spiritual mentor, financial mentor. According to my faith, the good book says there is safety in a multitude of counselors. And so really leaning into finding people who can help you on your journey and sharing and having that partnership together.
Yeah.
Right. And Mr. McNeil?
Oh man, I'm grateful first to Teresa for this invite. I'm grateful for you brothers who are understanding this this journey that we're on as African American males. I'm open. Call me anytime, brothers. I've been through so much. God has blessed me to take me through so many things, so many valleys that I can, if I don't know how to help you get out that valley, I know somebody that can help you. And one of the things I always like to say, and I got this from one of my mentors, hey, fellas, be good to yourself today.
Yeah.
So that's
That
a
was
good word.
powerful right there.
That's a good
That was
word.
powerful.
Yeah. Great
Mr.
work.
Burrell.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity, man, to be here with you guys, man. Y'all all said some things that really hit home with me, you know what I'm saying? And even in the process of being part of the panel, I feel like everyone here is in some way or form mentoring me, just by the things that y'all saying and the light y'all shedding on things, like I said, I grew up the opposite way, but I'm learning more on how to grow up the right way, and I have a son, so I'll be able to share with him the jewels that y'all giving me so that way he don't got to go through this. So I really appreciate this, and hopefully, we can take this, to the top, to the max, get a real big exposure where everybody just, coming in and the world is just being open to expressing and receiving, the things that men go through, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Kellum?
Always grateful and thankful for every opportunity to be a part of a positive conversation. And when it comes to mental health, I have a saying personally that I always do in my talks is that we're all here on purpose for a purpose. No matter if you may be going through negative thoughts, depression, down times, I need you, whoever's listening, watching the replay, to know that you're here on earth on purpose for a purpose, and you're needed on the side of the living to benefit yourself, your family, and somebody else.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna just in case anyone wants to contact any one of you guys and ask any type of questions, we'll start with Mr. Kellum. How can we contact you?
I'm on, I call it Facebook, Instagram, but Instagram, and now I call it Twitter times X, at Fatherpreneur. You can find me on website, rodneykellum.com. And I think that's the main two. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, website, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn too. I think I'm the most popular Rodney Kellum on LinkedIn, so look me up there.
All right, Mr. Vaughan.
Hey man, there's only one of you guys, all right? You guys know that, right? There's only one you on the planet. I love it, man. Hey, real quickly, guy, I was looking up some data the other day. I wanted to kind of understand between now, or actually between when the first human hit the Earth and how many people, I guess it was just in the United States, how many people were born and died between now and then. It was 108 billion people, man. And there's no one like us, man. No one was ever born or died that was like us, guys. So we have our uniqueness is my whole point. We are unique, and I'm excited about that. Hey, this is Kevin Vaughan. I am the CEO and founder of the Men Let's Talk Network, guys. Men Let's Talk. This is apropos that we're working with you guys, of course, in this area. We must talk more, and we're doing that today. So thank you so much for that. Hey, the website, real quickly, guys, is MLT Networks, mltnetworks.net. mltnetworks.net. It is available to all of you guys and here to support you as well. The email is menletstalk@gmail.com, menletstalk@gmail.com. And finally, guys, the phone, you guys feel free to text or call 404-401-0233. Once again, 404-401-0233. My phone line is always open to listen or to share or whatever we need, guys. We're here for you. So thank you so much for your time.
All right. And Dr. Meadows?
Yeah, as far as social media, the best places to find me would be on LinkedIn, Instagram, or on X. LinkedIn is under Adam Meadows, MD. On X, you can also search Adam Meadows, MD, or at uncommon_wisdom. Then on Instagram as the Kind Psychiatrist. And for those of you, if you're in the Atlanta area, ever looking for mental health treatment or mental health resources, I work with a great organization called Skyland Trail. You can go to our website, skylandtrail.org, and I look forward to connecting.
All right, and Mr. McNeil?
Well, brothers, I'm new to all this. All my mentoring and guidance has been word of mouth or spirit led. So right now I just have a cell phone, 404-661-0424. And my plan of action is next time we meet, I'm gonna have the QR code and all that other stuff going.
Okay.
But Miss Teresa knows how to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
For anything, brothers. Y'all know we in this age now, so reach out. I'm open to anything, eating some wings, watching football, playing some golf. It don't matter. Just call me, man. Let's fellowship. I'm down with it. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Mr. Burrell.
Yeah, I'm only active on Instagram. And it's SeVIIn Moet Moet. Or you can catch me at Terradome Studio. That's where I be all the time. If I ain't at work, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So,
All right. And myself, you can catch me under DJ Talented_1 on Instagram. And again, fellas, this conversation has been amazing. Learned a lot of things, gonna take a lot of things into life perspective and see what it takes me. And, more hopefully on a more positive note, and building business, building friendships, building all kinds of things. As well as thank you guys for those that are on the Zoom. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully there were some things that you've learned that can take you through your day in a better mental state. So that is the end of the show, and there will be more. Again, remember, every last Saturday of the month, we will have a show. I am Kayan, your moderator and host. You have a great day.